Hello, welcome to the Sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Open Series in Chicago. I am Nick Miller alongside Matthew Tickal. How you doing, sir?
Hi, I'm doing well.
You're 5-0.
Correct.
And you're playing this very awesome new Rally of the Ancestors brew.
Yes.
That just everyone that saw it on camera immediately wanted a deck tech.
Yeah.
So we're here. We have seen decks like this before, but you have so many new Origins cards. There's just a lot going on here.
Correct.
So you're someone who's on our leaderboard, number 15. You've been working your way up. Time for people to get to know you and your style of deck here. Talk about how you came to this conclusion.
My big wheelhouse is Birthing Pod, and sadly that's gone. But so I definitely wanted a deck that no one is ready for.
Sure.
Just there is no good graveyard hate cards, and if I can beat Abzan, which this consistently is very good against, that's a deck I probably want to be on.
Sure. So we've got all the usual suspects for a green core of the deck. You've got Elvish Mystic, Caryatid, Satyr Wayfinder, and then of course you have the Den Protector, Death Mist Raptor engine, which is going to do a lot of good because you're doing so much with your graveyard already.
Correct.
Now this is where the fun part begins. Rally of the Ancestor. We've seen this usually in conjunction with Grey Merchant of Asphodel and a bunch of Mogies, Marauders, and stuff like that. You are kind of taking a different take on the deck. Tell us about how you kind of built the deck and how you don't really need Grey Merchant.
Yeah, Grey Merchant and Siege Rhino are just too expensive. Not that they're bad cards, they just don't fit in this deck. You want to rally for 3 as often as possible, and value rallying is totally acceptable due to Grim.
Right, Grim Haruspeck's another piece that we've seen in the Abzan versions where you get to get so much value from just your creatures dying. But you have these other pieces. You only have a couple Mogies Marauders allowing for the insta-kill.
Yeah.
But you have what we've got, the new Jace and new Liliana here fueling the engine. What's the roles these two cards play?
Jace is, since I'm playing so many not stellar cards, like Mogus Marauder is just not good on its own.
Right.
2/2 haste, yay. So I want to discard as many of the combo cards and the ones that aren't strong into my graveyard as fast as possible with Jace. So most of the time I'm just saving my mill cards and just drawing cards and putting them in, and then when I'm ready to burst, I burst. Like when I have 4 mana, I usually play double mill, and with Gather the Pact, which is a new card, which gets 2 creatures back, but it's also a May, so I can leave them in my yard.
Right, so the new All-Star here from Magic Origins, a card that, sort of like Mulch, sort of like Wayfinder, you get to fill your yard, but get your value with it.
It's a better, for this deck, it's better Communion of the Gods.
Sure.
I just played against Blue-Black Control, and I played 3 Gather the Pacts, and drew 6 creatures that you just couldn't handle the value.
Right, you get to use the Spell Mastery, I assume?
Yeah, almost. When I'm milling, almost always when I've already milled and stuff.
Okay, so we're setting up for this Rally of the Ancestors kill. You can use it for value, as you've said, and we saw you on camera do that, using it to block and set up stuff like that, allowing Grim Haruspeck to draw you a bunch of cards. But when you go for the kill, you use Nantuko Husk along with Mogies Marauder.
Correct. Nantuko Husk, Mogus Marauder. Mogus Marauder gives creatures haste, so I can give my Mana Dorks haste and my Jace haste and Nantuko Husk haste, and Intimidate, which is the important part, so no one can block. There's only Siege Rhino that can really block in the format, and if I'm swinging with 3 Husks, it doesn't matter.
Right, that was what we saw that's so important for you on camera. You're able to get 3 Husks back. Even an opponent that had multiple black creatures still couldn't block all of them.
Yeah. When I'm value rallying, Grim feeds my hand, and if I can if I can just cast Mogus Marauders, that's great. I can also chord for it with all my guys in play. I can just tap 6 and chord for him, and then give Husk haste as well. Liliana, when she comes back, sometimes I re-mill it when I'm rallying, and I mill with Satyr Wayfinders. So when Lily's back, I'll sack and flip her, and then bring her back that way from the graveyard.
So much value, just these little interactions you're doing. Grim Haruspeck allows you, along with Nantuko Husk, to draw a bunch of cards, but also make it to where Rally of the Ancestors doesn't exile the cards you need, correct?
Yeah, Correct. I played against green-red, and I rallied just 3 guys back and blocked his team, and yeah, that was, and then drew 3 cards. Like, that's a very good Magic card.
Yeah. All right, so we've seen the shell here. Now the sideboard has some pretty interesting cards as well. Another one from Magic Origins, you might have played this at the pre-release, Cleric of the Forward Order, gaining you a bunch of life against
Correct.
the red decks.
Yes. He's better than the 1/3 that gains 3 life. I don't know his name,
Ration
but
Cleric?
yes, because he blocks Pile Driver. That's the end of the statement.
Yeah.
Also, when you rally multiples in play, like the first one's 2, the second one's 8 life, the third coming back is 18 life, and then if all 4 come back, it's 32 life, and almost no aggro deck can handle that.
Right. And when we talked about this deck on stream for the match we saw, we called it Soul Tie, but you've got all 5 colors in here. We're going to have to switch the name because you got a little bit of everything going on.
Yeah.
Colligan's Command hanging out here on the sideboard as well.
Yeah, Colligan's Command was a last edition at the last moment because blue-black control still plays the artifact that exile. Yeah, so I can't attack through that. So I needed a value card that is good against blue-black control and can kill the artifact, and that was pretty much the only reason that card made the cut.
Well, you found the answer for it, it looks like.
Yeah.
Thoughtseize again for control.
Yeah. Oh yes, control counter spells. If I can Thoughtseize and then rally, they usually lose.
Yeah, the previous versions we've seen, what makes them so strong is you play this value game, and then if they ever tap out, the threat of rally is there.
Yeah.
You get to pick their hand apart and then rally equal things.
Yep.
All right. Other cards out in your sideboard that have shined today that have done a lot of work?
Just another Den Protector, and Hidden Dragon Slayer came in against dragons because I blocked a Pile Driver, or not Pile Driver, Rabble Master. He was playing Rabble Master, and I just put it down on 2. It's like, that's good. And it also kills dragons. Like, it's the 5th card. I have 5 bad cards to go out against red-green, so cards that aren't necessarily good in the matchup.
This deck seems incredibly taxing to play. There seems to be a lot going on. How are you kind of handling the deck?
I've definitely made lots of misplays on camera. I definitely missed lethal. If I had played a different land, if I had played another white source instead, I could have rallied again and courted and would have hit lethal. He was at 45 life, and that's a lot to be bashing down. Let's see.
What are like some tips you would give people that are trying to pick up this deck? Are there sequencings or anything you have to kind of work around?
Kill Ashiok. Ashiok will win the game because you take 3 or 4 turns to set up, and they can usually stop that against you, and he can mill you out. So that's why the Hero's Downfall are in there. It also kills the Anafenza, which is so it's the premium spell to kill Anafenza. Those are the very 2 hard cards to beat.
Right, as you said at the beginning, there's not a lot of graveyard hate, but those are 2 cards that can kind of cramp your style when you're trying to fill your graveyard.
Anafenza, Ashiok, and the Neville's Disc. I'm not sure what it's called.
Sure. Well, the deck looks great. You're 5-0 with it. We hope to see it some more on camera. Thanks for joining me here in the sideboard. Stay tuned to StarCityGames.com all weekend long for the action here in Chicago.